Hey, what's up? David here with After VideoFX, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be creating this space look using After Effects. I'm also going to be using Videocopilot's optical flares to create these sort of like galaxies vibe look to it. And I'm also going to be using Videocopilot's Orb plugin, completely free. You can download. If you don't have optical flares, you can use the built-in lens effect inside of After Effects. But today I'm going to be using optical flares. So without further ado, let's take a look at what we're going to be creating. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. So let's go straight into it. So we're going to make a new comp. I'll call this space tutorial. I'll make it 30 frames. I'll make it 450 frames. Be sure to have your color channel to 32 bits per channel. If you don't know how to change it, just hit Alt and then it will change automatically. I'm going to grab a solid and call this space orb background. Okay, and apply the orb effect. Okay, get a camera, so Control Alt Shift C. Hit 24 millimeters. Hit OK. Now I'm going to get this star image. You can download it from Videocopilot's website. I'll leave a link where you can download. And because it's black, there will be seams, but it is invisible because simply because it's black. That's it. Okay, but I'm gonna make this change some settings to this. So I'm gonna let's put the diffuse layer on first, and I'm gonna make this to a box for the UV. Make this 4x4 like that. And what we're going to do is change the surface to back. And if you come down to this advanced options, there's a little checkbox say unit only. So click that. And what we should see is, oh, sorry, I didn't make this too big enough. So we'll make this 2000. And there we go. We've got a complete star world here. Okay, that's looking really cool. But I want to brighten it up a bit, so use a curves effect to just brighten that stars up a bit, like that. So you just make those illumination a bit more brighter. Okay. Alrighty. Now, what we're going to do is create a solid. Call this flare. Got optical flares. And we'll go into the options here. I think the preset that I used was Arctic Circle. This guy right here. Just change the default color to white. Hit OK. And you can move it around here, and we'll get the turbulent displacement, and if we set this up to like 10, you can get a little bit of detail and you can see what we're trying to achieve here. If I crank this up to like 120 by like 100, and you can see that it's creating this like distortion effect with the flare, and as I move it, we get a different look to it. So that is really handy. Okay, so might change some of these settings here. Just change that to white, so we get a bit more color control. And I might tint this to like a blue color. Like that. Okay. if I change this to a 3D layer, you can see that we're getting something. And I'll just change this the blending mode to screen. Okay, and I'm just going to draw a rough mask around this so that we get some soft edges here. Might make this like 250. Okay, and if I just move it in 3D space, we can get something. So like that. Something like that is pretty cool. Move it across the side here and push it back in 3D space and scale it up. Okay, and you can do the rest, create more just using this technique. So I'm going to do that, so just give me a minute. Okay, so this is what I had after a few minutes of just duplicating, masking out, changing the color, changing the brightness and scale of the flare, some turbulence. If you want to see all of our mask here, so what I've got for this blue flare, I've got a mask on the edges here. Actually, would have been easier to just create a mask around all edges, that way you don't have to manually mask them out, but that's a lesson I learned when I created this project. So I'll just show you quickly. That's where all of this stuff is. And I even changed the position of these, so some are a bit more in like 3D space. So for instance, this purple flare is out there. Scale it up a bit and just move it. So is this white flare. You can scale it up as well. So you could do all sorts of changes to this, but I'm just going to move on. So let's go ahead and create a haze. So a new solid called haze, like that. And I might change this to a yellow one just in case. And we'll get the fractal noise effect. Turn this dynamic progressive. Set the complexity up to like 12. And we will just change the sub rotation, something like that. Turn up the transform. So, just trying to get a good offset. I might just play around with the brightness and contrast for this, like that. Okay, cool. And okay, cool. And we'll just grab the mask tool and we'll just draw a rough mask around this guy right here. Hit F, feather that guy out. 300 pixels. We'll add a bit of color correction to this. So take away some red and add some blue to this. Okay. Set to screen and hit T and drop the opacity to like 30% or so, maybe even 25, and make it a 3D layer. Okay, and then start placing these all around your scene here. So we can just maybe move this guy over here, duplicate it, and just play around with the evolution so we get a different look. And then maybe change the scale. This guy, move it over here, duplicate it again, maybe even rotate it. So we can rotate it like 180 degrees, like that, and play again with the evolution. Even change the opacity to like 15. that. So we get a bit of depth to this. I bring this back up so we can have a look at it. And there I see a large seam here, so I'm just trying to figure out what that is. Might leave it like that for now. And we'll just do a bit of lens flares. So create flare. And we'll do optical flares. And what I want to do is just isolate the flare itself like that, and I might change it a bit brighter, and we'll set this flare to add. Okay, and again we'll, you know what, we'll put it in the center there, and we'll just draw a rough mask around it. Hit F, feather it out, and then we'll change it to a 3D layer, and we'll make it red. Maybe we'll turn down the brightness a bit. Okay, change this to just aqua, and we'll just place it in our 3D settings here. So maybe one here, push it back, Z space, put another one maybe down here. Oh, I should probably just change the color as well. Maybe make this like white. Maybe this guy, make it like blue or something. But this flare, I might make it like that. And I'll put all of these flares underneath the haze. Okay. So that's looking not too bad. One final detail I want to add is some stars in 3D space. So I'm going to do that by creating another new solid and call this, we'll get the CC particle world. Unfortunately, my red giant has some licensing problems, so I gotta fix. I don't know how I'm fixing that, but for now I'm just going to use this guy. So make the birth rate to 4, longevity to like 20 seconds. We'll make a faded sphere, turn this all white. And we'll make it, set all this to 0. Let's spread that out. Make it really small. Like that. So start with birth rate of 4. Maybe go a couple frames and just turn that back down to 0 so that particles are stationary, so they don't keep rebirth. So make change to 1, 1.3, like that, and we'll just distribute that across. Okay, and we'll put this underneath the haze. Make it pink. Okay, so that is our setup. Let's go ahead and do some color corrections. So just get 2 color corrections, put on top here, and we'll get curves and just add a bit of contrast to this. And we'll desaturate like 20%. Get the glow. And just keep that up. And we'll add an exposure effect to expose some of that lighting. Okay, so that's not looking too bad. I might adjust the threshold for this. So I might drop that down. I might restart these glows so I can just have a little look what's going on. I might just play around with that. I think it's because of the flares here, hence it's making the just drop it here. Drop that one there. And I might make this like a bit more like curves adjustment, so just hit like this, and then we'll just set this to subtract, feather that out, 500, a bit of a vignette to draw our eyes to this, and the green flare might make it a bit more green. So something like that. This blue flare is looking a little hectic. So I might just adjust that. And what I might do is play around with this a little bit. So I've got my camera here, and if you hit P and Shift A, set a position, and then just scroll along, you can actually zoom in, and you can check out the 3 dimensions that we're achieving here. And then you can zoom in some more, stuff like that. So really cool, neat stuff that you can do with 3D dimensions. So something like that. It's pretty cool. Let's have a quick preview at this. Okay, so the animation is looking not too bad, but it's just too much here. There's like a lot of going on here, so not looking. So I might first off adjust the position of the flares, so because that's kind of what's bothering me. So I might put that one a bit more in the corner. Green one as well. So, and the blue one, yeah, definitely a bit more pushing out in the corner. Purple one a little bit, just space it out a little bit, and the white one a bit more in the center. And the flares, so this red one, maybe desaturate it a bit. this yellow one, or the white one, is can stay the same. Might space it out that way. The blue one, put there, and then the orange one. The yellow one as well. Okay, and then this blue flare, might drop it down the brightness. This white one, this green flare, and then the orange one. Definitely drop that down. Maybe even more. And bring that back up. Okay. This white center one. Okay, now we're kind of getting something. And then I can adjust my glow to really push for the softness I want. Like that. Might make the blue one a little bit pop a bit more. Maybe that's a bit too much. Like that. The white one. Drop that brightness down a bit. Okay. And I might change the position for my red flare to be over here. The white one a bit up there. And I might make it a bit more tinted. Okay, that looks getting a little better. Might desaturate that green flare a bit more. And then this orange flare, might make it a bit more yellow. Something like that. Okay, let's have another look at this. I might play around with this. Okay, that's not looking too bad at the moment. Might actually compare with my original. So lock this. This is something new I'm doing in the tutorial. I'm just comparing my original one to this guy. So yeah. Tell me in the comments which one you guys like better, left or right. But in the meantime, I can see that I color corrected this to be a bit more blue. So that's what I might do with this guy. So I might take away some red, add in some blue. Just add in some blue in here. And then this green is a bit more on the white side, and this orange one is, so that's a bit more saturated on the orange side. And then the sky, this green one is a bit more, something like that. Okay. And this white center flame is getting a little too big, so I might just squeeze it in a bit. And might even add a tint effect to this, just to control the saturation of this blue. And this green flare as well, I might do. Yeah. Cool. Okay, cool. So let's have another preview at this. Okay, let's check it out. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. I might want to like tighten these like flares together. So I just might tighten this a bit, and might bring the blue down here or something. Just tighten up rather than spread out, so we get a little bit more diverse range. And I might bring that across. Okay, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. You can go ahead and make so many variations with this, but I'm just giving you something that I made through my personal experience and what has helped me. Anyway guys, that's it. My name's David. I hope you learned interesting techniques that you can use for your own creations. Please give a like if you like this video so people can find it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and be sure to hit that bell button to get the notifications. And comment down below if you have any questions. And I will see you in the next video.